Oh, Stardew Valley, the slower-paced farm sim full of crops, animals, romance, crafting, and more. This game means the absolute world to me, but playing the same storyline with the exact same community center bundles over and over again can kinda get stale eventually. I personally have 275 hours on this game on my PC alone, and I played for years on my Switch before I ever bought it on Steam, so you can say if anyone is tired of these easy-peasy community center bundles, it's your girl. So, to combat this, and to continue my love for this amazing game in all of its newest 1.6 update glory, I decided to start a heavily modded and way more difficult playthrough of the game. Feel free to grab a snack, a craft, or play a game of your choosing while we traverse on this amazing adventure together. This is my journey of the first 2 seasons, spring and summer of year 1 in Stardew Valley Extra Extreme mode. Enjoy! As all Stardew playthroughs start with, we're here at character creation. However, this doesn't really matter much since this is highly modded and we will be changing how we look almost immediately after the intro finishes, but you know, we can't be ugly until then, so I still picked out my favorite hair and some decent clothes. This screen does give us a sneak peek to one of my favorite mods I use in almost every one of my playthroughs, which is the one that gives us a Shiba Inu option for a dog, so of course I chose that one. My player name is of course Zelda, and since our UI mod on this file is magical girl themed, I did choose my farm name to be Maho since that means magic in Japanese, and it was the first thing that was on theme that popped into my head, so I chose that. Then it took me a literal good 2 minutes to figure out what to put into my favorite thing box, but I landed on the thing I usually put in that box, and that is, of course, the obvious answer, Goro Majima from the hit game series Yakuza. No explanation needed, I mean, just look at him. That is my favorite thing in the entire universe. We move on to see our grandpa dying from lack of bed support. Rip, Grandpa, you would have loved to see Marnie and Lewis dating in secret. And obtain the secret letter of secretness, aka a land deed that somehow we haven't owed any taxes on in the last X amount of years. Okay, socialism, pop off. We see the cutscene of us hating our life working at Joja Corp, and I'm actually shocked that they let me work this long with fluorescent pink hair. Like, is corporate America really that bad, Pixel Zelda? You tell me, girl. This place is dirty, though, not gonna lie, so maybe she's a germaphobe. We decide that having pink hair isn't saving us from corporate depression. It never does, let's be real. So, we open up that land deed, get on the bus, and move to the boonies. As we arrive in Pelican Town, Robin is here to greet us at the bus stop. And as you can tell, the UI mod and the recolor mod are here in full effect. I'm an absolute sucker for cherry blossom trees, and this vibrant pastoral recolor mod does them beautifully. I'm gonna leave links below to the official Nexus page of every mod I've used in this video down below so you guys can check them out for yourselves if you're interested later on. Robin walks me to my property, and after seeing it, I'm visibly shocked. Maybe more so at the yard, that shit's a mess. But my actual house did look pretty out of place as well, because this is the first time I used this mod, and it did make me laugh. Lewis and Robin talk about how decrepit and crusty my house is, which is hilarious considering it looks like I ordered a Barbie Dream mobile home from Sears.com in 2005 and plopped it down there. I'm sure my grandpa loved it when he lived in it. Most definitely. After my long day of travel, I head to bed, and I wake up bright and early on spring 1st to start my first day on Maho Farm. By habit, I started my day checking my luck, even though the mines aren't open until day 5 and I really did not need to know that information. However, my luck was very bad and that did not feel like a good omen for this extra extreme challenge, so there's that. I had a letter in my mailbox from Haley gifting me a hand mirror, which is for the outfit mods, so of course I had to get to styling. Okay, fit check! Nice. Now that I'm at my Sunday best, let's do some yard work. I always start my new files by getting out that scythe and chopping down as much fiber as possible since it doesn't take any energy, but it cleans up the visuals a lot. The random stuff all over the ground stresses me out, so I like to clean it up ASAP. After cleaning the fiber, I use my axe and the pickaxe to get rid of the wooden stones in the crop area, and that used up the majority of my stamina bar already. Since we chose the new Meadowlands farm type for this challenge, it does come pre-equipped with 2 free chickens. So I went to go meet the babies and see what names the gotcha gods pulled for us. The names we ended up with were Billy and Bertha, which, to be honest, pretty mid, but at least it wasn't like a movie reference I didn't understand or something, so, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I used 50 pieces of wood to make a chest because my pockets were already full of just fiber, wood, and stone. I do think it's wild that the game starts you with your pockets 50% full of tools and nowhere to put anything. Like, I can't get 1 free complimentary chest. But hey, that's just me, you know? I did end up with 3 free mixed seeds from all the fiber cutting, so I planted those bad boys, watered them, and then set off to town to meet some of the townsfolk. On day 1, I met Harvey, Jody, Vincent, Emily, Granny Evelyn, Caroline, more like she should be mine, you know what I'm saying? Gus, Maru, George, Abigail, Clint, More like Flint, get it? Rock humor. I went to talk to Gunther, but then I remembered that the game doesn't acknowledge him as a human being, so then I left. Elliot, who I believe to be a serial killer, but don't at me on that one. Alex, Pierre, Leah, Samson, Pamela, Robin again, just in case it didn't count already. Demetrius, this leak, he was very nice. I stared lovingly into Sebastian's room thinking he wouldn't come out, but the unthinkable happened. My lover came out of his cave and I got to tell him hello. And Linus. Then I headed home, put my stuff in my chest, and went to bed. Day 2 starts with more mail, and this time it's from Willie informing me that he has a free fishing rod for me. I water my 3 little measly mixed seeds, get rid of the few remaining stones in the crop area, and find my first geode, which is pretty sick nasty if I do say so myself. I met Willie on the beach, snagged up that fishing rod, and found not only 2 shiny blue clams ripe for the picking, but also my first harvest of carrot seeds right there in the sand. I walked back to town and met Jazz, talked to Lewis again, checked some trash cans for any hidden goodies, met Marnie, met Haley and introduced myself as a farmer girl or whatever, and I gifted her a daffodil since I already had it in my pockets, and I was immediately rewarded for my kindness by finding a field snack bar in the trash can outside of Sam's house. I couldn't fit it in my pockets because they are ever full, so I will return for it later and hope that it still exists. I returned home and planted my free carrot seeds next to my free mixed seeds, and then I decided to head back into town and purchase like 1 bag of each regular spring seed to try to cover my bases for any of the bundles that will appear in the community center next week. Spoiler though, I am severely underestimating what I will be needing for the bundles. But it felt productive, so let's just be impressed with my forethought for like 3 seconds. 1, 2... Okay, great. Thank you. It was Hotties at Pilates Tuesday at Pierre's, so this place was packed and I got in and out quickly to avoid too much conversation. I checked out my relationships tab to find out the only person I hadn't greeted yet was Shane, and since his little icon had his work uniform on, I knew exactly where to find him. After stalking Shane and not really meeting him, I mean, we didn't speak, I left and said hi to Sam again, grabbed that field snack from before, started cleaning up the area in front of Marnie's ranch a little. My pockets were indeed full again, so I sped home, planted my 4 little seeds, and then ran back down for more foraging. I will say the spring onion harvest was abundant, and that is truly a blessing, because I swear some playthroughs I never get good spring onion spawns, so I was very grateful. I did some more speed cleaning and tried to catch a fish in the river pond thing, but I only had 1 spot left in my pockets, so I went home with 1 single smallmouth bass. What a haul. On my way back to my house, I'm still cleaning up little debris pieces because I'm an addict, what can I say? And after planting 2 more free mixed seeds from my cleaning spree, I headed back into bed. All of our free items netted us +1 level in foraging, which was nice, so I unlocked the recipe for some seeds I'll forget about later in this run, foreshadowing, and the ever-present field snack. We got a sweet 62 gold from that smallmouth bass, which is better than nothing because we're dirt poor right now. Dirt poor. Crop humor! I awakened on day 3 to heavy rain sounds, which is nice since watering crops takes energy I just don't want to spend early on in this game. We're 3 for 3 on letters in the mailbox. Today's coming from Pierre, trying to sell me a backpack upgrade I desperately need and really cannot afford. Sir, I have $352 to my name. I cannot afford your backpack. I stood in the rain and contemplated ending it all for like 2 seconds, and then I realized Billy and Bertha needed to be taken care of, so I got my shit together, and then I realized they had already started laying eggs. Since when is the growth period 3 days for chickens in Stardew Valley? Has it always been this way? Where have I been? I found some more carrot seeds in the dirt, which is always fantastic. Got 3 shiny blue clams that were trying to hide in the sand, but the rain said nuh-uh, and then I decided I'd use some time to fish today since I needed some money, like bad. I used the pro strat of selling the fish directly to Willie once my pockets were full, so I wouldn't have to run all the way home, and not gonna lie, I felt like a genius. I somehow wrangled myself an eel this early on with the beginner rod, which was a shock to me, so I definitely didn't sell that one to Willie, and I kept it since I knew I would need it for literally anything later on. I put the eel and the seaweed into my chest of keepings, and I sold off everything else I caught for the day. My fishing leveled up to level 1. I made about 900 gold from selling at Willie's during the day, and I made another 417 gold on top of that from the end of day sales, totaling around 1300 gold on spring day 3, which is a great number in my opinion. Day 4 starts with crop watering and chicken tending. Not chicken tendies, get your mind out of your stomach. I made it to town and checked the quest board where Demetrius wanted someone to fish up 2 smallmouth bass, and since I've been fishing more frequently, I accepted it in the off chance I ended up doing it by accident. I then realized it was too early for Pierre to open up shop, so I just fished in the river to waste time, and got the 2 smallmouth baths relatively quickly, which was convenient. I bought some cauliflower seeds from Pierre, headed up to turn in the quest to Demetrius for a free 100 gold, gave a gift to Linus because I need his sashimi recipe as soon as possible, grabbed some forage on the path, and headed home to plant my seeds. I did some more housekeeping in the yard, tried to plant some mixed seeds, and accidentally overexerted myself at 5 p.m., so I called it an early night. We did, however, make 200 gold just from the chicken eggs and the smallmouth basses, so I'm not too mad at the wasted time. It's day 5, and we all know what that means. It's a big day. It's a special, special day. It's doggy day, everybody. I open my door eagerly to see Marnie standing there with the Shiba I've been waiting for. I said, gimme, 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 and of course, I named the dog Goro. For obvious reasons. Not only for Goro Majima, but also my Shiba in real life is named Goro. After Goro Majima. I'm mentally stable, I swear. Look at my son, isn't he handsome? With Goro's arrival came some good luck, because we got to harvest some of the season's first crops and put one of each of them directly into the chest of keepings. There's more mail in my mailbox because, well, why wouldn't there be? And it's another advertisement from Robin trying to sell me a well, Robin, you should have advertised something else because that is the last thing I'll be wasting my hard-earned cash on, alright? Okay, thanks. I do more watering, more chickening, I do a little foraging, and then Mr. Louis Schmewis starts the guilt trip session about how if I shop at Joja a single time, he's gonna stone me in the middle of town. I mean, turn the community center into a Joja warehouse. He tells me I need to see a shrink because I'm sketched out by the Junimos, and I'm like, honestly, maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm seeing right now, but yeah, that's that. I take a look at the sacred Junimo writing, and I can't decipher a single word, so I leave. I do some more of the old fish, sell it to Willie, fish some more, routine until his shop is closed, and then I head home for the night. I made sure to pet Goro before climbing into bed because it's his first night here and he needs to be comforted. I'm not a monster. I was rewarded with level 1 farming and +1 hoe proficiency, and not to mention 444 gold on top of what I made selling at Willie's during the day, making another decently profitable day in the first week of spring. Day 6 is technically the second day that the mines are open, but I didn't make it there yesterday, so it's the top of my priority list today. The wizard sends me a letter inviting me to a smoke sesh that I will definitely be attending, but not today. After watering the crops, I went to Pierre's to upgrade my backpack before entering the mines because there is no reason to go to the mines with the starter backpack. It is just a waste of my time. I start making the hike up to the mines and I spot my favorite boy in the process. After I tell him good morning, he basically tells me to fuck off, but all I hear is
blah, blah, blah. Proper name, place name, backstory stuff.
Yeah. Marlon introduces himself to me and gives me a free sword. Seriously, there is so much free stuff in this game. I love this town. The mines were pretty uneventful, but in a good way. I got to floor 10, got some brown boots, some copper ore, a few geodes, amethysts, topaz, and coal. Day 7 was nice and rainy, so I figured that the vibes were just right for the sesh with the whiz, so I headed down towards this tower. It worked out that the traveling sales lady was here on this day. I was really hoping she'd have something amazing that I could afford, but alas, she had junk. The wizard summoned a Junimo, I went back to the mines, and I really started to remember just how much I hate not having a magnet ring of any sort. Mining without a magnet ring is just a painful experience. I got to floor 15 and I called it quits there since I knew I didn't have enough stamina to make it to floor 20. I decided to do a tiny bit of fishing just to finish out my stamina bar for the day, made another chest because the first one was about to overflow, and I went to bed and was greeted with level 2 mining and level 1 combat for my efforts. It's day 8 and I'm feeling great, or something like that. Water them crops, girl. Chop that tree, girl. I was doing some more yard work for God knows what reason. Okay, so at this moment it hit me that the first set of bundles had been unlocked because I saw the wizard yesterday, and holy Jesus, I needed to figure out what was in them. Because hi, this is Extra Extreme Stardew, and you guys don't even know why it's difficult. And really, I didn't even know why it was difficult at this point either. So I was really eager to see the bundles. I figured it wasn't as fun to look at them in my menu, so I went all the way to the community center to show the full effect. So the mod I used for these bundles is the Challenging Community Center Bundles by Joksha6472 on Nexus Mods, and I specifically did not look at the photos before downloading. I wanted to go into this fully blind. And boy howdy are these extreme. 15 of each forageable. I mean, if I hadn't eaten all of the ones I had picked up already, I guess it wouldn't be that much of an issue, but like, I ate a lot of them for stamina, and now I am regretting every decision I have ever made in my life. And surely there's no way to get them other than RNG, right? Right? Yeah, I forgot about the spring seeds due to being overwhelmed here, but let's not talk about that, okay? Feeling defeated by the looks of these bundles, I went around town looking for forage basically everywhere. And this notion kind of takes over my life for the rest of the season, honestly. I cannot go an entire day without thinking in the back of my mind, what if I'm missing out on a horseradish that I need somewhere, So that's what I did the entire day. Day 9 is raining, and I started it by giving love to my puppy. I collected my finished crops, 2 parsnips, 2 carrots, and 2 potatoes. At this point, I am so afraid to see the crop bundles because I have no idea what could be in them or their quantities, so I just saved everything I gathered and I didn't sell a single thing. I went back around town looking for more forageables and found next to nothing. However, Sebastian was out on the town since it was raining, so at least there was a shining light to my depression on that front. Penny had put out a request for a carp to rub on her sore calves. Yeah, no, you have fun with that, Sam. Since 15 seemed to be the lucky number for the foraged bundle items, I figured 15 could be a baseline number that I could save up for the crops as well. So I purchased 14 parsnip seeds, since I already had a few grown already, and 7 potato seeds, since they usually pop out with multiple every time you harvest. I planted those seeds, did some more debris cleanup, and then I hit the hay. Day 10 starts out with yet another letter, this time from Linus sharing some calamari with me. Hopefully it was cold enough in the mailbox to be semi-refrigerated. I filled Goro's water bowl, watered me crops, grabbed the chicken eggs, and looked around again for more forage items. Today's search was not a complete waste like yesterday's was, netting us 2 horseradishes, a leek, a daffodil, and 2 clams. I came home to Goro cutely sitting next to this giant stump, which I just had to show because it made me smile. I decided today I would submit a few of the construction bundle items that I had on hand just to feel like I was making some sort of progress, so I gathered 99 wood, 99 stone, and 99 fiber to take to the community center. I'm surprised that the numbers weren't crazily inflated for these items, since these ones are pretty easy to get higher amounts of, but I was grateful that I could fulfill something, so I'm definitely not complaining about that. I said hi to Harvey on my way down to Marnie's ranch area, picked some of the spring onions, and then headed back to town to use the remainder of my day to do some river fishing. I ended up with a sunfish, 3 bream, 2 smallmouth bass, some coal and topaz from a treasure chest, and also lots of seaweed and trash. After I headed to bed, I leveled up my fishing to level 3 and made 603 gold from my daily sales, which doubled my on-hand pocket money, which was very nice. Day 11 is rainy again, and I pet Goro's cute little head again. I feel more affectionate on rainy days, it seems. Any psychologists in the chat want to analyze that? Spirits are perturbed, as it would seem. Rainy days don't give happy spirit vibes, to be honest. I am very pleased, however, since I don't have to water all those crops, so works for me. It's back to more forage hunting, and again, more spring onions. I swear Concerned Ape had to have buffed the spawn rate for these onions in the update, because I have never gotten so many of these before. I found Robin's lost axe on this day, and I guess I missed receiving her letter. Seb wanted a cauliflower to let out his anger on, but unfortunately, I did not have any spare collies at this time, so I had to pass on this, even though the mental image was really too good. I brought the 30 spring onions for the community center and dropped them off while I was in town, making this the first item completed for the spring forage bundle. We have 1 of 6 completed and we only have 17 days left of the season. To say I'm nervous is a complete understatement. I headed up to the mountainside of town, gave Robin her axe, found literally nothing for forage, and decided I'd do some mining instead. I had forgotten about the day's bad luck, and as the spirits had warned, I got cursed with a floor covered in slimes. Usually, if I find a floor like this in normal gameplay, I'd just cut my losses and come back another day. However, I still had the Kill 10 Green Slimes quest active, so I figured, hey, why not? 2 birds, 1 stone type deal, so I carried on, persevered, and made it to floor 20. And luckily, I made it home and into bed before 12:30 a.m. It's day 12, and Mayor Lewis sends a letter saying tomorrow's the Egg Festival, which means 2 things. 1, I'm gonna kick Abigail's ass in the egg hunt, and 2, strawberry seeds. Both of these things are of the utmost importance. Apparently I was sleepwalking last night and both made a furnace and a scarecrow because I didn't show that. Well, it's there, and yippee, we have our first copper bar. The crops got watered, the eggs got collected, as did the spring onions, and nothing from the traveling cart got bought because, as usual, she sells nothing but garbage. There was no forage to be had other than daffodils and clams, which are great, but I'm in desperate need of horseradishes and dandelions right now, so the stress is only gaining on me at this point. I did nothing of importance for the rest of the day, just fished in the mountain lake and chopped and planted a few trees once returning home. However, my farming level is now level 2, as is my hoe proficiency, and sprinklers are unlocked, which is lovely. I don't usually use normal sprinklers, I usually hold out for quality, but something tells me I'm gonna need to suck it up and invest early this time. Day 13 brings good humor spirits and lots of crop harvest. Joyous day be upon us. I wanted very badly to build a silo, so I grabbed my 5 clay and my 4, fifth one that's in a furnace, copper bars, and was ready to go to Robin's to build myself one. However, there are many issues here that I only noticed later. The first one being, it was Egg Festival day. So I go looking for some forage and then notice the little Egg Festival notification pop up, and I'm like, silly me, never mind. I bought 20 strawberry seeds, talked to almost everyone, kicked ass in the egg hunt as usual. Abigail, you wish you could be me, but you can't. Won a sick-ass straw hat, went home, planted my strawberry seeds in the dark. Day 14 starts with placing the straw hat right on top of Goro's head where it belongs. To be honest, it's far too big for his head, and I can't take it off without getting another hat, so it's there no matter what until we get another one. Mistakes were made, but what can you do? I headed straight to Robin's to attempt to get that silo, but that's when I found the other issues that I didn't realize before. Not only am I forgetting the 100 stone that you need for a silo, but you also need 10 clay, not 5. This was just a mess, and let this be a lesson that no matter what, no matter how much you play Stardew, you are never too good for the wiki. Like, just have it open regardless, always and forever. So yeah, no silo for me. Instead, I went mining, made it to the next landmark floor of 25, ran into Sebastian on the way home and gave him an amethyst as a gift because I did not have a quartz or a frozen tear, and he asked if my name was Zelda. Yeah, you could say things are getting pretty serious. On day 15, Granny sends me a letter telling me noob shit like, your crops are gonna die on the 1st of summer? As if I'm not a pro gamer? Yeah, thanks Granny, I know. It's the start of salmonberry season, so I went around the entire town gathering those. Not super exciting, so let's skip ahead. Sam asked me for a carp for a project he's working on, and I can't help but think back to Penny's carp request from earlier. I was able to finish off the salmonberries and the daffodils for the Spring Forge bundle today, so I dropped those off, marking this bundle 50% complete as of Spring 15th. I brought Sam a shiny silver star carp to rub all over Penny, and he said, "Thanks, bestie." I fished at the beach until nightfall, saw Linus digging in the trash can for some food, tried my best to comfort him, and I told him it's literally garbage, you can do whatever you want with it. Accidentally passed out on my doorstep and got to level 3 foraging. Day 16, Pierre told me he's selling fertilizer, as if I can't make it on my own. Again, who do you think I am, Pierre? This entire day was spent again getting salmon berries, fishing at the beach, and leveling up farming to level 3. Day 17, I collected salmon berries up until the mines, but decided I couldn't waste more entire days collecting them. So I did some mining, really fought for my life in the dark with my shitty little sword, looking for the ladder down, but finally found it and made it to floor 35, booked it home, and went straight to sleep. Day 18 included more salmon berries, but then I found Vince and Jazz playing down by the nasty sewer, talking about how they know Gunther has the key for it. Why would they know that information is my question, but whatever. I decided to give Gunther a visit, and he was having sad boy hours about how the museum is completely empty. Which is valid, like, why does nobody else do anything in this town? I donated the couple items I found in the mines, which did include an ancient doll, which was pretty cool to get this early, and after chopping some trees back at home, I slept. Day 19 was the day Jody asked me for a cauliflower, so after my daily watering and egg grabbing chores, I went straight to her house to drop it off. After looking for more forage and failing miserably, I went back to the mines to try to make more progress and made it down 10 floors this time to 45 before heading home. I did steal some torches from some of the mine floors and used them on my farm because, as crazy as it is, I still hadn't found a single magnet or light ring anywhere in the mines. It was driving me nuts, and everything was so dark that I had to steal some torches. So we're going to take a little intermission here, and not because I want to, but unfortunately because we have to. I want you to think back around 20 minutes ago on day 1 of this challenge where I randomly checked the day's luck even though I didn't need to. Do you remember what happened? I said, haha, wow, it's the worst luck possible. Feels like a bad omen for the challenge. How silly. Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't silly. It was true, and I should have listened and heeded the warning. It wasn't just bad luck for the challenge, but unfortunately also for the video, because from here until day 20, all the way until day 35, which equals out to summer 7th in-game, I don't have any footage. And it's not for lack of recording, because I actually did record it all, and it all recorded fine, but it is literally because of the Windows Explorer undo button. I could go into grand detail of how this happened, but the moral of the story is never use the Windows Explorer undo button because it can move hundreds of gigabytes of videos in and out of folders without a single pop-up, and if you delete the originals because you already made copies and put them onto another hard drive, and then you press undo on accident without knowing that you undid something else and you meant to undo something different. Anyway, yeah, all that to say, we're continuing now from day 36, and for that I sincerely apologize and hope you can forgive me, but I spent hours and hours trying to recover those files from my hard drive, but they just don't exist anymore, so this is where we're at. So hi, this is day 36, welcome. To get you caught up to speed with the only things that I know, I finished the spring forage bundle and unlocked the crop bundles, so luckily I did start out summer knowing what I needed to grow. For the summer forage bundle, I need 15 spice berries, 15 sweet peas, 5 fiddlehead ferns, 15 corals, 15 clams, and 30 maple seeds. You can't omit anything for this bundle, you do need all 6. For the summer crops, I need 50 blueberries, 20 summer squash, 30 hot peppers, 40 hops, 20 melons, 20 red cabbage, 30 radishes, 30 tomatoes, and 10 summer spangles, with the option to omit one crop of your choosing. From here on out, we're going to be finding out lots of surprises together, since honestly I can't remember everything I did during the time the video cuts out. Like anything random I added to the community center, if we gained hearts with any villagers, etc., we're going to be finding it out together. The only monologue I can really give you here is that, yes, I did continue to forget about the wild spring seeds until the 24th of spring, and at that point, it was far too late to plant them, so I had to pray to Yoba that I would find everything I needed the old-fashioned foraging way. And I know you won't believe me, but I swear on my life, I found the last 3 horseradishes I needed on the very last day of spring, with an extra even. 4 horseradishes after I barely found 10 or 12 the rest of the season. I truly felt blessed on that spring 28th, but not knowing later that the footage would just disappear because of course it would work out that way. So because I knew what I needed to grow, you can see I have a huge setup of sprinklers that I did on the very first day of summer. And this is basically just what I need for the bundles. The only thing that will get me extra crops is the stuff that grows multiple times. Luckily, all of the mining I did early on in this playthrough really helped me out because I was able to make all of these sprinklers so early. I spent most of this day just looking for forage, chopping trees, and was lucky enough to get a Jack Be Nimble book for +1 defense in the process. Day 37 starts with a harvest of hot peppers and crop watering, and Willie advertising some new fishing rods in stock, which honestly is a good thing because these fishing bundles are unlocked too, and they are absolutely insane, just as expected. Basically, you need 5 of everything, and they all need to be gold star, which isn't hard per se, but it's a hassle nonetheless. While heading up to the mountain area, I found some summer squash seeds, which was fantastic since I definitely needed more of those for the bundle, so that's a huge find. During the missed footage section, I made it down to floor 85 of the mines, and today I made it a total of 15 levels down, all the way to level 100, snagging that star drop and filling my mind with thoughts of Goro Majima. Yep, beautiful. As I left the mines, Linus invited me to his tent, and there were some, questionable sounds happening there, but he was just showing me how to make some fish bait, so no worries. As I fell into slumber on this night, the beautiful pink crop fairy blessed my melons, and they grew a size larger overnight. Thank you so much, Crop Fairy. I plucked those melons on the morning of day 38, along with more hot peppers. The peppers seemed like a really good investment aside from the bundles because they regrow really fast, so I'm going to be able to sell a bunch of them later on in the season due to how many I planted. I knew that I was going to unlock the quality sprinklers soon since my farming level was currently already at 5, so I left an empty spot for a sprinkler while replanting my seeds. At this point, I am so ready to not hand water crops every morning because I have been doing it since the very first day. I took some time to do some lake fishing, and even though I fished up 7 sunfish, 2 pike, and a rainbow trout, the only fish I could keep for the bundles were the 2 sunfish that had a golden star quality. The rest were unfortunately not good enough and thus were sold off. Luckily, I already had enough clams and spice berries for the summer forage bundle, so I grabbed those and scurried over to submit them to my Junimo pals. I fished up a couple breams with the last bit of daylight and then headed back to bed. Day 39 is the luau, and I really had no idea what I was going to bring for the stew since I absolutely needed to keep my crops for the bundles. But something amazing happened on my way to the beach, and I found a gold star grape just lying on the ground, which was definitely good enough for me, and I knew that was my item I could throw in. After making my rounds, and of course talking to Sebastian as much as possible, look at his precious little face, I put the golden grape into the pot, and the governor said that the soup was tasty. Big wins. As I awaken on day 40, the Weather Channel finally says tomorrow is going to rain, meaning I can take in my watering can to be upgraded without missing a day of watering. Huzzah! Today is a huge crop day, so after gathering the crops, I grabbed the 5 copper bars that I needed and I head to Clint's to drop off my watering can. Of course, a lot of the times where I'm moving around, going across town, I'm also looking for forage still, but I feel like at this point I don't really need to tell you that I'm doing that. You can kind of just assume that's happening. I spend a lot of the day, again, river fishing, netting me a few pikes, breams, seaweed, and even a diamond from a treasure chest. For some reason, breams are one of the fishes that don't need to be gold star for the bundle, so I was able to keep both of the breams I fished up instead of just the gold quality one, which was great. As I slept, my farming finally leveled up to 6, unlocking quality sprinklers and thus enhancing my quality of life tenfold. Rainy day 41 brings us lots of crops yet again, including all 10 of our summer spangles, which meant we had finished another item for the crop bundle. At this point, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic that these bundles are possible to finish in a single season, as long as I know what I need up front. After gathering all the finished crops, I made some quality sprinklers, replaced some of the normal ones, and added a few extra to plant even more stuff. I'm not like dirt poor right now, but even more crops as passive income would be welcomed, so I'm just setting myself up for future success. I went to Pierre's and bought some more hops plants because for some reason I was worried that I wouldn't reach the 40 necessary that I needed for the bundle, but I forgot that they reproduce like every single day after first growth, so this would prove to be pretty dumb later on because I could have put something better there, but well. I take the spicy peppers, summer spangles, and the melons to submit them to the Junimos at the community center. As long as nothing catastrophic happens to my crops, we're going to be able to finish this crop bundle easy peasy. I took the evening to make it down another 5 floors in the mines to floor 105. Before I knew it, it was midnight and I had to sprint home to make it to bed on time. Day 42, I awoke to the spooky green haze, meaning that it was moss fiber and fiddlehead fern day, which I desperately was waiting for. You see, it's summer and I need 5 fiddlehead fern for the forage bundle. This normally wouldn't be an issue, seeing as you can get it easily in the secret woods, but my axe at this point wasn't even copper. It was just a normal old axe. I had counted on this event happening so that I wouldn't have to waste a lot of money upgrading my axe just to solely unlock the secret woods, and my plan had worked perfectly. However, this day is pretty boring, so we'll skip most of it. I just used my scythe and gathered moss and fiber basically all day. My foraging did level up to 6, which I think it might have skipped more than one level this day, which was cool to see. Day 43 was lots of crops again. This seems to be happening like every day, which is super awesome since we're no longer in no money territory. Yesterday, the blueberries finally finished growing, so I dropped those off at the community center along with the 30 mixed seeds for the exotic foraging bundle, then picked up my newly finished copper watering can from Clint while I was in town. I also had Clint open some geodes for me, and then while donating the new items, we can see that, wow, I went wild on the geode opening during the video list section as well, as our museum is way more full than it was before. Filling this museum isn't required for the community center completion, but it feels bad to neglect it, so I won't. We got my favorite reward, the giant bear, for our efforts, along with some other stuff I don't really care about because the bear is what matters here. I placed him inside behind the couch so he can get cozy. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I got a barn. There's nothing inside of it yet. And finally got enough clay for my silo eventually, so we got one of those too. We're moving up in the world for sure. I crafted some crab pots to put on the beach so I can kind of passively work on the crab pot bundle every time I visit the beach, so I set those up and then left. Afterwards, I had realized that the green rain really amped up the growth of the trees on the farm, so I used the rest of the day's stamina to stockpile some wood. Would you believe me if I said day 44 had another large crop haul? Truly, we live in these massive, big, crop-growing times, my friends. Easily reaching the 40 hops threshold, I submitted those ASAP. I realized I really needed to crack down on fishing at this point, since I'm sure some of these fish that I'm not even close to finishing will be gone after this season ends. I did a little bit of research, and specifically rainbow trout is one that I'm worried about, so I focused on trying to catch some of those in the river. My efforts, though, were slightly in vain, considering the 4 rainbow trout I caught, only 1 was gold star, meaning only 1 was usable. Oh well. My farming level is skyrocketing now with all these crops, though, already up to level 7 just days after getting level 6. We're also moving up to bigger numbers at end of day sales as well. With half of the crops being able to be sold now, we made almost 4K in one day today. Day 45's harvest was only hops for the first day in a while, Kinda sad, but it's bound to happen eventually. I went back into the mines, hoping I could make it to the bottom with only 15 floors left to go. Equipped with salmon berries and an obsidian's edge sword, there is barely anything that's impossible in the normal mines, you know? I made it to floor 120 by 7:30 p.m. and thus conquering the normal mines on summer 17. Not too shabby if I say so myself. My haul was pretty good on this day as well, including, but not limited to, a yellow dwarf scroll, some omni geodes, a diamond, 65 gold ore, and squid ink. Day 46 has lots of blueberries and hot peppers again, which is lovely since I'll throw those right into the sell bin. I headed to Robin's because I remembered that this update brought the recipe for big chests, which I desperately was starting to need for my forage and fishing bins. However, I somehow picked the one day a year where Robin goes to the doctor, and I was thoroughly confused on why she wasn't at work on a Thursday. I checked and refilled the crab pots, and they gave me 2 things I needed, which was good. I go home and chop tree, chop more tree, and chop some more tree. Our big haul granted us almost 5k profits today. Yippee! Day 47 and lots of summer squash and radishes are ready to be harvested, which is good because those are 2 of the 3 items left that need to be fulfilled in the bundle. There is a problem, however. I did not account for the fact that coffee can't grow in the fall, and I need lots of golden coffee beans for the quality crops bundle. I've been planting them with fertilizer, but not nearly as many as I need, and it has dawned on me that I will not have enough after this season ends. Seems I'll have to revisit these in the spring, but for now, I have lots of random little bits I can fill into different bundles, so it's off to the community center yet again. I drop off the 30 maple seeds for summer forage, the summer squash and radishes for summer crops, cave carrots for exotic foraging, and pine cones for winter forage. I went to Robin's and finally moved my barn into the fenced area, patiently waiting for this damn chicken to get out of the way. Okay, thanks, pal. Walked downstairs and got the 2-heart cutscene with Sebastian. He talked about nobody taking his programming work seriously and how he can make lots of money if he went to college, but Corpo America sucks. So true, agree, and by the way, you are so handsome. Robin rudely interrupts our conversation, saying Abigail's looking for him, and if looks could kill, I would have laser beamed a hole right into her at that moment, because imagine the look on my face, bro.
Bitch, we don't want the recipe to your mom, Pete's Cobbler, bitch.
I spent the rest of the day down at the beach doing some more fishing and even upgraded my rod to the iridium version. I caught an elusive super cucumber, as well as 5 usable red mullets and 1 flounder. Also got a shrimp and cockle to keep for the crab pot bundle. All of this work leveled up my fishing to level 7. It's day 48 and we only have 8 days left of summer, so the pressure is building. Demetrius asks me to bring him a melon, and luckily, I've got one. With today's tomato harvest, we have enough tomatoes for the last piece of the summer crop bundle. I finally remember to buy the big chest recipe, totally forget to give Demetrius the melon, and run down to the community center. With the tomatoes submitted, the Junimos gift us an iridium sprinkler, and we can finally unlock the furnace room bundles. Genuinely, these ones feel like a breath of fresh air, and I don't feel like they're as hard as the others. Maybe aside from that weird sword on the Adventurers bundle, but that's an issue for future me. The metal bars, monster drops, and other items seem like they won't be too much of a hassle. We snagged not only another shrimp, but also a lobster from the crab pots and a rainbow shell from the beach. I realized once I returned home that all I needed for the forage bundle was the 5 fiddlehead ferns that I already gathered days ago, so I went back out to submit the ferns and gave Demetrius the melon. Day 49 brings, you guessed it, peppers and hops. The summer storms have been taking a huge toll on my wooden fences around the barn and coop, so I took the liberty of replacing the broken pieces today. I literally never build wooden fences for this specific reason, but because the game gave them to me for free in the beginning, I can't mix and match the fencing because that would be so ugly, so we're stuck with it until I decide to overhaul everything, which I am just far too busy for right now. I did a lot of tree cutting on this day because the trees were beginning to take over the yard, so enjoy this mini montage. I decided to make my first trip to the spa because I had used my entire stamina bar by 2 p.m. and I wanted to start cleaning up this area and start using it for a wood farm as I do in almost every playthrough. Basically, I plant a million trees here and keep replenishing them when I cut them down so I don't have to grow trees for wood on my own farm. So I cleared out this area, planted all the tree seeds I had on hand, and yeah, that took the entire day. All of this tree cutting, however, got our foraging up to level 7. It's day 50, everyone, and we're on the home stretch. I started the day giving Goro some love. We haven't heard about him in a while, but don't worry, he's still here and being loved on. Big crop day, everyone. We love to see it. Lots of fruit, lots of harvest. It is indeed thundering again, and my fence has been damaged again. And I realized it's been days since I checked on my chickens. Whoops, sorry about that, little dudes. I fed those guys and started maintenance on the fence yet again. I brought Clint 5 copper bars and my axe so I could upgrade it. Better late than never, you know. And then I guess I was running low on copper since I hadn't been to the lower levels of the mines in quite some time, so I went back to the lower floors and started a mad dash to find some in there. I will say I probably should have been fishing at this point since we only have like 6 more days, and there are summer fish that need to be caught, but hindsight is everything, I suppose. I ended up with over 70 copper ore and found yet another Jack B. Nimble book, and I read it again, even though I don't know if the effect stacks, but more defense sounded great to me either way, so it's worth the risk. After falling asleep, I had a weird-ass dream about a scary-looking man dropping blue boxes from a cheap-looking plane. And my farming is level 8, so I finally unlocked the ability to craft kegs, along with level 5 combat, in which I chose the fighter stat. With another 6.5k in my wallet, I said goodnight. Day 51 is finally the day I get to begin planting mixed seeds again. I never thought I'd see this day come after having to hoard 30 of them for that bundle from earlier. I'm so happy to see them going in the ground. So even though that the spring forage bundle is complete, we're still unfortunately on the hunt for grapes because for some reason the fall crop bundle requires 30 grapes. I mean, I guess that's one crop we could omit, but since they're worth next to nothing, I'd love to put those in instead of something I could make money on. But unfortunately, the chances are looking slim at this point. However, I'm still searching around town for grapes every time we leave the farm, meaning our forage search is quite unending. Since we unlocked the furnace bundles just the other day, and I saw the 99 batwings, slimes, and bone requirements, it inspired me to go back down into the mines and start swinging that sword. I wanted to focus specifically on bone shards for some reason, so I went down to the frozen floors and did just that. By a stroke of luck, I ran into Sebastian again on my way out of the mines, and I had a shiny frozen tear for him, which he appreciated immensely. Today's haul wasn't the best we've seen, but it did include 19 bone pieces and a diamond, so not a total waste. Day 52 starts by telling me that my copper axe is finished, and the spirits tell me I should stay inside all day because they are angry. Spirits, if the day was so bad, why did I have such a lovely crop haul? As usual, I harvest my coffee beans, hot peppers, and hops. I did some fishing in the river while waiting for Clint to open up shop, snagging 2 pikes and a shad, which all 3 were unusable due to not being gold quality. Cool. I got my axe and headed up to the mountain lake for some more fishing. I did catch my first sturgeon here, and I did feel accomplished. The usable items we fished up by staying here the entire day were 2 gold star carps, 1 gold chub, and 3 gold bullheads. I finished off the night by repairing the wooden fence again. I start day 53 by, of course, gathering crops and throwing a bunch into the shipping bin for, hopefully, a big payday after sleeping later. Old Grandpappy George sends a letter asking if I have any hot peppers for his aching old knee joint, and of course, you know I got hot peppers on deck, so I grab one for him. I take some time to scythe some of the grass around the farm to fill up the silo before heading into town. Sam put out a request for a cute girl to bring him a pufferfish, and while I'm definitely a cute girl, I was under the impression that pufferfish were a winter fish for some reason, so I was thoroughly confused. After consulting with the wiki and realizing pufferfish are indeed summer only, I was panicked and knew that I would likely not get the 5 I needed for the bundle this summer. What a bummer! I brought George his pepper and graciously accepted his cash prize. I could comfortably afford the last backpack upgrade finally, so I ran to Pierre's and purchased just that. I then took myself to the beach to see if the fish gods would bless me with a stash of pufferfish since I had it 3 days until the season ended, and saw Haley being a little stalkerish towards Alex. Like, y'all are friends, just hang out, what's going on here? I did finally fish up a pufferfish, and to my surprise, it was gold star quality. So sorry Sam, no cute girls bringing you one of those today. I fished all day and got a few items to keep for the bundle, but unfortunately, no more puffers than the first one. Day 54 is raining again. I swear this is the most dreary summer I've ever seen. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened, because I've scoured the footage and I feel like I'm really missing something, but the bulletin board bundles got unlocked at some point. Because here I am, gathering hay to start working on Marnie's bundle. And so, let's take a moment here to pray for me, because these bulletin bundles are egregious. Like, straight up horrific. Especially the chef bundle. Like, what is this? I have a feeling some of these are going to be the actual death of me, so I'm trying to fill in little pieces as soon as possible so I don't feel like they're completely empty. So yeah, here I am gathering 30 torches, 20 golden bars, 15 geodes, 10 frozen geodes, and I took them all to the Junimos. After submitting the items, I end up back at the beach to search for pufferfish yet again. Unfortunately, I keep getting super cucumbers instead, which would be nice if I needed 5 of those, but I don't, just 1. In the end, my efforts for the puffer were a failure, but my daily profits surely weren't. I think today's total of 7.2k is our highest earning day yet. Day 55, we have a new crop finished, which is sunflowers. I absolutely adore the flowers in this game, and I think they're so pretty. I really wish there was more things you could do with them though, like crafting flower pots, specifically with like a certain kind and color of flower. That would be amazing. Concerned ape, I mean, if you're listening, you're not listening, but if you're listening. I see here that I sold off these sunflowers, which is so annoying because I'm pretty sure I need those for the fall crop bundle, but I digress. I went around scavenging for grapes, but came out only with spice berries. I decided to finally put some cows inside my barn that's been sitting empty the entire season, so I headed inside to Marnie's. I then realized I had no idea what I was going to name my animals on this save file. I usually do a theme with all my animal names, but to be honest, I was uninspired at this moment, so I just went through the defaults until I found one that caught my eye, and Shong truly did. I then had to make sure the second cow's name would work well with Shong, and Knackers really hit the correct note there. Thanks, Marnie. Great recommendations. I gave the new babies some love and some food, then remembered I had previously gotten another Sam request for a ruby, so I figured I'd give him my only ruby because I couldn't deliver on the pufferfish request. I finally donated that dwarf scroll and another artifact I had laying around, snagged another few items for my crab pots and refilled those bad boys, then fished for the rest of the day. I did find another pufferfish, but it was sadly only a silver star. Hey Sam, you still need one of these or nah? My fishing leveled up to 8, and if I wanted to, I could craft a deluxe worm bin, but to be honest, I'll pass. Well, everyone, we're here. It's day 56, the final day of summer year 1. I started it with refilling the preserves jars, and of course, grabbing all the produce. There's a letter in my mailbox reminding me that the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies is tonight, which I completely forgot about. What a nice way to finish the first 2 seasons of this challenge. As I knew it was seriously my last chance to get these summer-only fish, I crafted some deluxe bait and took myself right to the water. My first 2 rainbow trout were only silver quality, meaning unusable, but after fishing and fishing and fishing, I ended up with 5 golden star trout and 9 gold star sunfish. Unfortunately, I only had a single gold rainbow trout stored away, so I would still need 4 of them to be able to submit, but it was still a good effort. I was, however, able to submit the super cucumber, halibuts, sunfish, and the red mullets. And now, this brings us to our ending ceremony of the Moonlight Jellies. After socializing a bit, I realized Pierre was selling a seafoam pudding that I would need 3 of eventually for the Bulletin bundles, so I sucked it up and paid the egregious 5k he was asking for it. Caroline talks about how romantic the candles are along the beach, and I wish I could kick Pierre in the shin and tell him to walk with his wife instead of selling stuff at the festival, but you can't change a businessman, can you? Sebastian tries to freak me out by saying there's something giant underwater, but nothing could scare me with a smile like that looking right at me. Sebastian, I love you. Our night slowly fades to black as the jellies do their final glow of the summer. And that's that. Our first 2 whole seasons of extra extreme, highly modded Stardew Valley. After 15.5 hours of gameplay time, this is the overview of where we stand. For forage bundles, spring and summer are completely finished. We need just 20 clay and 20 hardwood for the construction bundle, and some mushrooms and syrups for exotic forage. Fall and winter forage will come in the fall and winter, respectively, so no rush or worries there. For crops, summer was fully completed. Unfortunately for everything else, I don't have enough resources yet, so the rest will be filled in slowly but surely. This entire set is the saddest looking one at the moment. Over to the fish tank, we have a few random slots filled in, but I do have a lot of fish saved up in the chests at home that just need a few more to reach the 10 quantity, so this isn't super accurate of where we stand, truly, but I hope to focus on fishing more in the winter and fill this up even more. For the furnace bundles, this will also fill up more in the winter when we have more free time. Majority of these are easy, they just take time, so I'm not worried about it. And for the bulletin board, well, this will be the last one to be completed. I'm almost positive of it. I've got not much to say on this, other than you can see that this really is late game stuff. So we can take a moment to quote, look forward to this later. If you're interested in seeing the next installment of this challenge in the fall and winter, please let me know down in the comments and make sure to leave a like on the video. The amount of gameplay and editing that this took was an insane amount of hours, but I did have a great time creating it, and I hope you had a great time watching it. I hope to see you all again, and until next time, my best wishes from Maho Farm.